So welcome. If you want to just place a note in our chat panel so we can know where are you connecting from. I'm in Italy at the moment, and as you will see during this webinar, it's going to be darker because it's evening in the time zone where I live. So if you just want to say hello and say where are you connecting from, it would be great, so we could map together the connections that we're building in this online meeting. Okay. San Diego, California. Oh, great. I was there. I've been there when I was a teen. I was living in Los Angeles for 3 years, actually, with my family. Great. And we visited San Diego. Okay. Poland. Hello, Poland. Fortunately, never been there. So it looks like we are in the same time zone, maybe. Bavaria, Germany, the Czech Republic, Tamara, great. North of Italy, of course. Maria is part of the team of the Nature Coaching Academy. So she is joining us tonight, and thank you, Maria, for your presence. Okay, great. So we can start this evening's webinar, and ciao everybody. I'm Italian. I'm now in Italy, and we have launched the first edition of the Nature Coaching Academy past year. Maria is part of the team that has started the first edition of our trainings, of our programs, and she is to become a nature coach. Unfortunately, the global pandemic has stopped the ending of this course, so we still have one final module to complete. And after this, we are going to start the next edition of our training. So welcome everybody who's just joined this webinar. I've been asking all the people if you want to just say hello in the chat and tell us where you are from. I will now start the presentation that I prepared for you, so we can see what we're going to talk about, and you can have at a glance the content of this next about 1 hour, and depending on your question, maybe also 1 hour and a half, really depending on the interaction that you want to have with me. So let me share my screen. Okay, this one. Okay, so just if you can tell me in the chat if you're seeing everything correctly, so that I know that I'm fine and that I can go. From Finland. Oh my God, it's such a diverse community that is uniting here with me tonight. I'm very grateful for your presence, and I really want to thank you for taking the time to converse with me tonight about nature, about our connection with nature, and why it is so important for us in this particular time to work on this, to help people reconnect with nature. And we'll see how this connects to a wider vision that I like to bring on, which is linked to cultural repair and social and collective healing. So, okay, thank you, Tamara, for the feedback on the slide. Great, so actually, this is what we're gonna talk about. So I will say welcome in our community, and I will show you some pictures of previous workshops so you can have an inside perspective of some of the activities that we do. Then I will talk to you about our mission, which is exactly related to this need to work on retrieving our sense of belonging and participation with the biosphere, so that we can help people develop the ecological responsibility and the sense of taking care of people and planet, which is so urgent and necessary that we all develop nowadays. Then we're going to talk about nature connection and forest bathing benefits. I will tell you some of the most interesting, probably, evidence-based researches that demonstrate how much nature connection is good for our health, is good for our psychological well-being, and is actually good also for the planet. So this is, I think, probably the most interesting part for many of you, above all, if you are new in this field. Then we'll talk about coaching, nature coaching and forest coaching, to understand the nuances of these different realms of learning that we take care of. We talk about the roots of our philosophy, but really, I don't really want to place an accent on our philosophy. I think it's something that we all need to develop a different way to live with nature and with each other. And then we'll talk about next editions, and in particular, I will talk to you about an affiliate program, which is going to expand the outreach of our school internationally, and probably I hope that you will be interested in getting to know more, because what we are looking for is having national representatives, like country ambassadors, that can really make a difference in the development of this emerging culture of nature connection. And so anybody who is interested in learning how to expand their professional expertise and competence, integrating this kind of skills, probably could be interested in becoming an affiliate of our academy. So first, welcome in our community. Unfortunately, all the students of the Nature Coaching Academy of last year are Italians, and so when we did this very same webinar in Italian, we had a very warming and welcoming part, letting them talk to say hello and express their vision of these activities of nature connection or forest bathing. And so, as many of them, we are Italians, not so good in English usually, so tonight we cannot have them all here, but I will say hello to you on their behalf. Just let me see what's flashing in the chat. Yes, okay, great. Thank you, Tamara, for doing this answer on my behalf. So we, as a community of nature coaches and forest bathing guides and nature connection guides, are trying to rebuild a sense of connection to our living ecosystems anywhere we live. And this is the group that is about to graduate from the first edition of the school. And these are actually the three main pillars of the Nature Coaching Academy, the three different realms of learning that we take care of. So we do courses for personal and professional growth, workshops and trainings, either in person and online. We have done it so far in Italy, and we have an upcoming edition starting again in Italy as of the end of July, but we're going to go international during this next autumn, as you'll see. So basically we do a training to become a nature coach and a training to become a forest coach, and we'll see the difference between these in a few minutes. And then we do trainings to become nature connection and forest bathing guides and facilitators, which I call forest ambassadors. So maybe you have heard this word biophilia. It comes from ancient Greek, and it means bio, comes from bios in Greek, which is life, and philia in ancient Greek is love. So biophilia has been defined as the feeling of affiliation with life and all living beings, human and non-human. It's basically the love of life. And in my experience, it's a state of perception that changes our behavior from within. It's the heart that is engaged. Sometimes I say that never we have known more about the ecological crisis that is touching us from everywhere, and never have we done more destruction around us. So it's since the 80s and probably even before the 60s that we know a lot about the problems that our planet is facing due to industrialization and our economical systems. But it seems that knowing more doesn't really deeply motivates us to do more. to protect our planet, which is our home, and which we need to take care of the life of the future generations, not only human, I say it again, but also non-human living beings. So for me, but I'm not the only one to say this, it seems that knowing doesn't create a change. Probably it's the heart that is lacking and that we needed to reactivate. Because just think about it. When is it that you really want to do something for the person you love, or your favorite animal that probably you have in your house or something? This happens when you really love something. So when you love someone, you really want to do everything that you can to take care of his life. So the same is for the planet. Probably what's missing is our connection from the heart with it, is feeling how marvelous, brilliant, and how much genius it has. And from that state of wonder, then we can start feeling a sense of participation, and then we can start wanting and really engaging into behaving differently, into supporting the life of all beings around us. So I studied eco-psychology, by the way. I didn't tell you anything about me, I can tell you something very briefly, and then you can find a lot about me in the website naturecoaching.net. There is a page with my name. I'm Diana Tedoldi, and I'm a professional certified coach. I'm a member of the International Coach Federation, which is considered the golden standard in the world for coaching. And I've been working as an executive coach and an experiential learning expert, taking care mainly of leadership and teamwork capabilities in the corporate environment for the past 20 years. And I've been working so far with about 30,000 people in over 1,000 experiences. So what I love to do is taking care of the growth of people and teams and companies in a way that is in synergy with the environment. So there's a lot going on about sustainability, social responsibility. This is the field that I mainly aim to impact with the work that I do. And I work for companies like DHL, IKEA, to name, or Google, to name a few. This is my background. I have a master's degree in philosophy, and I studied eco-psychology with Linda Bazell-Salzman, Andy Fisher, and Craig Chalquist, which have written amazing books about these subjects that I strongly suggest you. By the way, I have a full reference of scientific references. I have a full list of scientific references about everything that we're going to talk about in this webinar. Just drop me a line, send me an email at hello@naturecoaching.net, and I can send you everything. There are also a couple of articles that I've been writing online for online magazines, and there you also find very rich references to many aspects of what we will be talking about tonight. So I hope, I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, so I did it now. So when I was studying eco-psychology with my teachers, really what we've been working on is this is retrieving this sense of remembering. Remembering is a very interesting word also in English. In Italian it works the same. So it is about refinding your members. Members in Italian, and in ancient Latin mean you're the part of your body. So for me, remembering who we are as humans means to reconnect with your body and with the body of the land, of the earth. So remembering who we truly are as humans, for me, has to do with remembering also that human comes from homo in ancient Latin, which comes from humus, and humus is the fertile soil. So for me, really, being human means belonging to the soil, belonging to the planet. This is the like the underlying theme of the trainings of personal growth and professional growth that we do. This is the final purpose, so to enable collective growth in synergy with our planet. Retrieving a sense of belonging and being part of, to heal our social and cultural systems, which are based basically in disconnection. So reconnecting is useful for regenerating ourselves and the planet. And this is a very famous, probably some of you have heard of her, Andrea Olson. She's a dancer and an ecologist and has been teaching in an American university anatomy and ecology in the same class, which is brilliant for me. And she's been writing a very, very suggested book, which is called Body and Earth. And you will find this in the reference list as well. And she says, the root of our environmental crisis is a crisis of attitude, of perception. This is Joanna Macy, very famous ecologist, American as well. And she says, the global crisis is, in essence, a crisis of perception. There can be no technological fix, but only a revolution in the way we perceive ourselves and our relationship with the earth. So for me, there can be no health on a sick planet. And it's something that we are starting to listen to more and more, above all after this global pandemic that hit us very bad. And it is strictly connected with the loss of wilderness, of wild spaces where wild animals can stay safely and far away from human urban cities. So this is, in synthesis, our mission, which is to awaken our sense of participation, community, belonging, and co-creation with the rest of the biosphere. So let's talk about some of the most famous, I would say, nature connection and forest bathing benefits. And by the way, if you have never heard about these fields, they are emerging fields of emerging movements, I would say, emerging since decades ago. In fact, we are talking about the 80s probably, when the whole field of researches, of scientific researches around how much a lack of nature experiences, of experiences with nature, impacts personal and social well-being. So in the 80s, what started to happen in the States was that people was moving more and more in big cities. And in big cities, there was a growing lack of natural spaces, of parks. And the first researchers pointed out how much the more lack in urban parks or natural spaces within cities, the more social violence arose, the more psychological issues and problems were spreading. And so this is all very well addressed in a book which is very famous, probably you have heard of it, which is Last Child in the Woods by Richard Louv. And this is a very famous author that probably is at the beginning of this international movement of reconnection with the natural world. I've been studying with John Young, which is one of the leaders in this, and his website 8shields.org is really a go-to resource for anything nature connection. Then there's the other field, which is the forest bathing, which is really which has a lot of evidence-based scientific researches brought on by Japanese physicians and researchers since the 80s as well. And forest bathing is an experience, in case you don't know it, where you connect with the forest, literally. It comes from the Japanese practice of shinrin-yoku, which means immersing yourself in the atmosphere of the forest. And this experience has been scientifically validated to promote a lot of benefits. And I'm going to tell you some. So yes, the idea is, why should we ever do nature-based learning or integrate nature connection in our learning activities, our profession? Because it's good, and I'll show you why. For example, one of these Japanese researchers that I was addressing, just let me see, because I was seeing something flashing in the chat. I went on a first forest bathing trip in Iceland last fall, Tanara. That's great. And if you want to comment, if you found it interesting or beneficial for you, it would be great. So we can get to know your experience as well. So I was saying, one of these researchers points out how much just 20 minutes of forest gazing reduces the salivary cortisol, which is usually associated with high levels of stress. So it was almost 15% lower than that of people gazing in urban settings. Another research, 30 minutes of forest walking lowers cortisol, lowers sympathetic nerve activity, usually opposite to relaxation, lowers blood pressure, lowers heart rate, and these are usually markers of stress conditions. And this was compared with 30 minutes of urban walks. 2 hours forest walking for 2 days in a row. 50%, this was one of the most stunning researches that has been done. So 50% higher natural killer cells, which is the body's disease-fighting agents. So it's usually the cells that come into place when they have to fight against cancerous cells. And the amazing thing is that this effect lasts for 7 days, which is a lot. Another scientific research says that 3 days wilderness backpacking produces 50% better results on creative problem solving. This was a research done with adolescents, so with persons in the teen years. This was a research of one of the professors I studied with. Probably you know Stefano Mancuso. He's one of the most famous scientists about plant intelligence. He's published a lot of books. There's an amazing TED talk about him. You will find it as well in the reference list for this webinar. Stefano Mancuso is considered internationally like the founder of this discipline, which is the neurobiology of plants. So basically he studied and he still studies the brain of plants, which he considers in the roots. So his researches are really worldwide renowned. And this is a research of his team, which is based in the University of Florence, and I studied with him in a postgraduate degree. And he found that doing homework outside in an elementary school leads to 20% faster problem-solving activities. And he studied 80 pupils doing trail-making tests compared to 80 pupils doing the same test, but indoors, which is usually where kids stay to study. So they were more focused, basically, this is what the research says, they were more focused, more concentrated, apparently inexplicably, because usually we think that if we stay in the classroom, seated in the chair, on the table, we actually should be more focused. But what happens is instead the opposite. So when we are outside and the pupils were like sitting very wildly, like on the floor, in the garden, under the trees, so eventually they could be even disturbed by, the birds or the leaves of the trees moving, and they were all together. It was really a messy situation. Instead, they performed better. And what they thought was because their body was engaged in the experience, and because, as neuroscience teaches us, brain patterning happens over sensory input. So the more your sensory experience is rich, the more your brain patterning is rich, which is the more you are creative, the more problem-solving ideas you have, the more intuition awakens in you. So this should pose us also questions about what it means to live and study and grow children indoors mainly. Okay, which is the entire subject of another webinar, and not of this one. So I just wanted to give you a brief insight about this field of studies, which for me is really, really interesting, and everybody, I think, should know it. So you can get an ebook about nature coaching and this list of scientific researches. Either if you go on my website, there's an area which is called Free for You. You just can download it, or you can write to me and I will send it to you. What you prefer, it's the same. So let's deep dive into what is coaching and nature coaching and forest coaching. Coaching, and I'm curious to know if any of you listening to me tonight is already a coach. So if you want, you can just drop a line in the chat so that we can know how many coaches we have with us tonight. Coaching is defined by the International Coach Federation as a partnering process with clients in a thought-provoking and creative way that inspires them to maximize their potential, their personal and professional potential. And I'm seeing something pop up in there are coaches. Wonderful. So we have 3 coaches tonight. Great. I love this. Okay, so usually coaching is either in an individual setting, so it can be life coaching, so on life issues, or business coaching to develop business, or career coaching, team coaching, parent coaching, executive coaching, which is what I do mainly. And also with small teams. So in this case, it's usually called team coaching. So what is nature coaching? And I was researching this keyword in Google at the beginning of last year, so 2019, and there were like a couple of websites using this keyword to describe what these people were doing. If you look for nature coaching now, you see an explosion of websites and of people that are using these methodologies. So this is good because it means that it's becoming more and more appreciated, but it's not so widespread as we may think. So we still are like a few, probably not more than dozens globally. The way I define nature coaching, so I understand that it's quite a unique definition, because most of the people that I've been researching usually understand nature coaching as practicing coaching outdoors, and that's it. So it's okay, it's totally fine, and I think that who's doing this already finds it beneficial for the clients, so perfect. What I like to place an accent on is that if coaching, let's go back for a moment to this definition, is a partnering process, then in my approach, I find it very interesting to extend the partnership not only from the coach with the coachee, but also the coachee with nature. So the partnering process is more systemic in my approach. So I define nature coaching like this: an approach to coaching developed in connection with nature, not in a simple presence of nature. So nature for me is the co-coach. And another nuance that I added to this nature coaching thing is not that I that the focus is helping the client develop this systemic view of himself or herself with the wider relational ecosystem that each one is and has. So the ultimate scope for me is restoring human beings to their natural ability to take care of themselves and their whole relational ecosystem. So forest coaching is like a subgroup of this wider nature coaching thing. So it's an approach to coaching focused solely on the connection with trees in forest ecosystem. And I'll explain you better what I mean with connecting with the different ecosystems in a few slides. Before, I'd like to tell you which are the basics of the practice that I integrate in my let's say standard coaching business. So we said nature is the co-coach in a process of mirroring and dialogue between inner and outer landscape, which the coach facilitates. In my approach, the awakening of somatic intelligence integrates powerful questioning to enable feeling, awareness, responsibility, self-actualization, and change. So I am also a dance therapist. So in the core of my philosophy is that the body has an inherent intelligence. And when we connect to this knowing that we don't even know that we know, follow me, when we connect with this somatic knowledge, we have access to a wider potential than the one of only our brain or cognitive thinking, because cognition is a process that is embedded in our body and which is extended in our wider environment and relational ecosystem. So the body for me really becomes an orientation organ, I would say, through which we make sense about us, about our experiences, about anything that touches us from the outside. So everything that we teach in our courses is body-based and is nature-connected. I love the definition that Andrea Olsen gives about body as part of the earth. So we are part of this wider body, which is the earth, and place is the specific part of the earth that we connect with through our bodies. So there's this whole field of practices that are related to connecting with place, which specific ecosystems with the genius loci. Probably some of you have already heard this word, the genius loci, which in ancient Latin, again, you know, I studied philosophy, so bear with me. I love what I studied, basically. So for ancient Latins, the genius loci was the spirit of the place. And through my studies in ecopsychology and deep ecopsychology mainly, there is this this part of the practices that enables the people to connect with the specific psyche of the land where you are, of the ecosystem where you are doing the experiences, which is really fascinating and is part of the process of re-enchanting the way we live in this world that I was talking to you about before. So just let me switch on a wider light so that maybe you can see me better. I didn't consider this, and just give me a second. Okay. There we go. So maybe we can, you can see me better. Then we have the core practices of nature connection, nature forms body work, and ecosomatic activation practices that support and integrate the coaching process and dialogue. The natural environment can constitute the setting, both indoors and outdoors, and we have a whole set of learnings related to how to do nature connection indoors. Is it possible? Yes, of course. And by the way, our body is nature too. So we have nature everywhere, starting from ourselves. The nature coach uses a language rich of natural metaphors and images and nature-based visualizations and experiences. People that do my trainings learn a lot of practices, guided visualization, and we have counted so far more than 100, so we are still completing the list of everything that we touch across the trainings. So it's really rich, and most of them have also come out of the group itself that is in training. So for me, what's really important is also to make the group the protagonist of the learning experience and really co-create the program together. Then everything for me is life-centered. So the coach facilitates the coach's ability to nurture and support life in his life, in the life of the people around him or her, and the wider context of nature and non-human living beings. So this is the part that mostly connects with social responsibility and ecological support. So basically, the nature coach becomes a facilitator of connection for the coachee between his or her inner landscape and the outer landscape, which is to say inner nature connects with outer nature in a process of mutual mirroring that is useful for the emerging potential. So let's come to the different ecosystems. So in my model, I propose nature connection experiences in 5 different environments. The desert was missing. So we have forest coaching when the accent is mainly on trees and forests and woods. Then we have the ocean, the waters, I would say, rather than just the ocean, the mountain environments, the volcano, and the desert. And this year we were about to do a beautiful 1-week experience in the island of Vulcano in Sicily, in Italy. Unfortunately, it was due for this past Eastern, and so we still have to do it because we couldn't actually, thanks COVID. Let me see what's popping up in the chat. Oh yes, Gianluigi Puyer has just joined our conversation, and he's a coach too, and he was part of this first edition of the Italian training, first year of training. And he's going to be part of the community and organization management of the international edition of the Nature Coaching Academy too. So if you will join, you will get to know him better for sure. So let's go deep for the next few slides into the core themes of each of these environments. So when we bring coaching in connection with the trees and the forest, we place an accent on these kind of core themes. So it's about personal alignment and presence, somatic intelligence awakening. So the body is really the focus in this forest coaching approach. Stress management. The trees are really teachers of breathing, of taking time, of rooting, of entering silence. For me, they're really teachers of silence. And I've been practicing these kind of experiences since 25 years ago. So I started very early in my life. I was growing up in the country near the Alps in Italy. And in the country in front of the Alps. Actually, I'm from a place that is between Bergamo, which you may have heard, and Milan. So nature for me has always been a teacher, a mentor, my source of inspiration, protection, and healing. And I started exploring and experimenting nature connection without even knowing that I was doing it when I was about 20. And I consider these kind of practices that I transfer through the training really foundational of my identity today. Working with trees for me has really got to do with finding your personal alignment, your centering. So it's about silence, retreat, find your support from the roots and nourishing so that you can extend yourself to flower and to flourish. So these are the core themes addressed in everything that is related to forest bathing and connecting with trees. The mountain, and I know that there are coaches here, has a special connection in my experience with everything goals. So it's about inner tracking, so it's about energy management, goal setting, goal vetting as well. It's about observing obstacles, but also getting in touch with resources, finding your facilitators. It's about trust and self-esteem. It's about meeting your fear, the limitations, and how to overcome them and improve your performance. The volcano has to do with creativity, with the inner fire. So it's about deep transformation. It's about emerging from within. It's about discovering your uniqueness, your personal talents, and put them in place. So it's the energy from within, which is really the great teachings of the volcano. Then the waters. The core themes are the life movement, the movement of life, the dance of life. It's about feelings, it's about relationships, sentiments, emotions. It's about states of consciousness, in particular flow states of consciousness. So it's about expanding our perception possibilities, and it's also about the inner child. And we do this mainly in connection with ocean and seas, but all these themes can also be addressed with rivers or lakes or other kind of natural waters. Then the mystical desert, which is all about self-centering and widening your vision of yourself. If you've ever been in a desert, you know what I'm talking about. It's really about connecting with your deeper source, with your vision of yourself in the long haul, connecting to what's essential. When I first went, this is the a photo from the first travel that I did in the Sahara Desert, and it was, oh my goodness, 20 years ago. And I remember the first time I was going through the dunes, and it's really like this. It's a sea of dunes everywhere. I remember that there was nothing around me, and the feeling deep inside of me that I was having everything that I needed. And so this experience has awakened within me like a very old calling. And I couldn't give it a name. I just know that something awoke in me in that moment. And that was part of the rising of a vision and a mission that I'm talking to you about tonight. So the entire webinar of tonight comes out from that experience and other very deep nature connection experience that I did, but probably that one was really crucial. So, you know, the desert is universally also connected to the theme of the sacred, like where you don't have anything, you have the opportunity to connect with what's beyond visible. And traditionally this has been narrated in lots of mythologies and different kind of narrations. So I've been talking so far about let's say archetypal themes or core themes connected to specific environments, but in nature and in life, everything is in everything. Everything is interconnected. So every core theme that we have just talked about can also be addressed in a different environment than the one that I told you. So either it can be anything. So we can mix and match the different core themes and the environments as we please, basically. So I do that association that I've just talked to you about because it's really intuitive and works very well. So it works very well to work on watching the movement of your life when you are connecting with the ocean or with the waters. It makes sense to connect with your inner energy and inner fire when you connect with the volcano, but things can really be everywhere. So basically you can use any environment to address any core theme. I just wanted to specify this because I love a systemic view of things. So the 4 roots of what we do, which is like the 4 main realms of training that we bring on, is a first big group of teachings that has to do with forest bathing and nature connection. Another big set of learnings has to do with anything ecopsychology, biophilia, mindfulness with nature, practice of organic work, which is this deep work on ecosomatic activation and recognition with your somatic intelligence. Then we have everything ecology and nature-inspired learning. And I don't know if you've ever heard of biomimicry. It's an emerging scientific discipline that merges biology with problem solving, creativity enhancement activities, and it's like a heuristic approach where you basically watch and study and observe a natural element or living being or environment, and you try to extract from it, and you get inspired from this aspect of nature that you're observing and studying to find ideas, strategies, and solutions that you then apply to your human challenges. Biomimicry has historically been most famous for its applications in the technology or industrial field, but now it's knowing an amazing expansion in the field of social innovation. So for example, I have entire programs that I do in companies about nature-inspired leadership, nature-inspired teamwork. So we study and I facilitate with the biologists side by side with me, understanding of the dynamics and the teachings and the learnings that we can find in certain kind of animals or social insects, of aspects of the environment. We study those, and then I invite people to reflect, okay, what can you learn from this? What is nature teaching you that you can incorporate in what you do? And the underlying thought that is behind this approach is that nature knows how to do things because she's around for much longer than humans do. And so probably we need to start watching at our ecological ancestors to find ways to live in a better way on this planet. So this part is what I call the biomimicry for coaches, and is quite interesting, of course. I mean, I've studied it and I love it. And so this is why I'm telling you. So then we have the part of meiotic somatic coaching. Probably you know what meiotics is. It's basically, again, remember, I'm a philosopher. So Socrates was the, let's say, inventor of this approach. And he was like the most ancient coach probably in the world. He was using questions to awaken the knowledge of his students. So any approach that is based in questioning is using a meiotic approach. You have to use questions and also have this like mantra in your head, which is, I don't know anything, the coachee knows. So when you are in this position of cognitive neutrality and you answer questions to your coachee, which is what we teach, this kind of meiotic approach, you are in the best position to really help your client awaken his or her knowing possibility, his or her potential, without, let's say, oppressing him with the knowledge of the coach, which is another person, so may have totally different views and perception and competences. So the idea is that meiotic somatic coaching integrates this very respectful listening, questioning approach with somatic awakening, with somatic reconnection, and with nature connection. I have a question for you. So just to make sure that that you are with me on this approach based in nature connection and body activation. Now I will show you some pictures, and I would like to ask you, where do you think your brain, so yourself, your whole self, works best? In this kind of environments, or in this kind of environment, quite a little better, or here? By the way, these are examples of biophilic design. Biophilia is really entering the architectural design studios of some of the most famous designers in the world. So these are examples of biophilic design because they awaken biophilia. So how do you think you would work in an office like this? Or in an office like this? This is our group last year, and this is the biologist, which is part of our team, and he was actually teaching with me. Okay, where do you think your brain works best among these scenarios? So our idea is that nature plus body activation plus a sense of community, which is deeply embedded in our psychological needs, equals brain and body health, and therefore whole beings, more whole beings, more holistic opportunities to live in an integrated way within ourselves, with other people, and with our planet. So this is the underlying thought in everything we do. Okay, so the question is, how can we be our best selves if most of our day is like this, and I'm included in this scenario? Okay, so I'm not saying that I'm not like this. Most of the time I work in a context like this when I work in the companies. So the idea is to balance, of course, to balance. If we have to work and live in certain environments, how do you help your system to get what it needs anyways by cultivating other kind of experiences, so that you can live in a more balanced way, and so help your brain do its job. So this is basically the pillars, the roots of our philosophy, and this is the final scope. Okay, so a strong part of what we do is the community building aspect. So this is really important, because oftentimes when I do these trainings, I listen to people that say, it's amazing. So I'm getting to know so many people who resonate with my values, who have the same needs that I have. I thought I was the only one who had this kind of needs or thinking or values. And so we need to feel together with like-minded people when we are trying to change our view of life so deeply, and when we are trying to impact our communities with this kind of emerging thinking that has to do with reconnection. So the whole world, in my perception, in my experience, is really moving in a disconnected way, so that it fosters disconnection of ourselves from our bodies, of ourselves within each other, with each other, and of ourselves with our planet. So this is, I think, the mainstream the way that our economical systems work, through disconnection. So since what's mainstream is so much aiming towards disconnection, we need to feel together when we start to build a different way to stay in this world, and a way that is based in connection. So we need to feel together. We need community. Community is a basic basic psychological need of humans. And so the part of building community between the group, and so either with online instruments, since international training will probably involve people from many different parts of the world, and also during the nature immersion intensives is really important, and is part of what makes the warmer side of the trainings. So it's not just cognitive, it's relational, and it's heart and body based. So let's come to understand what's the plans for the future. This is part of the teaching group. So far, the past editions, we have seen Simone Ciocca, which is my biologist, the biologist who works with us in this training, and who helps me out with everything science, everything that is related to getting to know better how nature works and functions, and how brilliant it is, and how much of this brilliance and genius we can learn to transport in our systems, in our lives, in our social environments. So he's Mr. Nature for me. This is Maya Cornacchia. She's the teacher of practice of organic work, which is this deep practice of somatic reconnection and ecosomatic reconnection. So with nature through the body, through perception. Very, very easy practices. Like most of the time, it's just about opening your senses and being aware of the moment, of your body, of your sensations. It seems so easy. Sometimes it's totally difficult for some people. This is Nicola Castelli, and he's a teacher of mindfulness. So we will work with him in nature connection practices based in mindfulness. This is, I call him the wild man, Arnaldo Savorelli. He's also an architect, expert in organic architecture, bioarchitecture. I don't know what's it in English exactly, but he's been trained in animal tracking with Tom Brown Jr. in the States, and he is part of the teaching team with archery. And the way he teaches archery and nature connection is through awakening our ancestral identity, and the kind of workshops that he does have really this impact on retrieving our oldest hunters and gatherers memories that are very deeply bound in ourselves, we could say. Ilaria Bianchini has 20 years experience in facilitating nature connection activities for families and children and teens in particular. And she will be our teacher dedicated to understanding how to integrate everything that we learn about nature connection and nature coaching with this kind of audience, so family, teens, and children. Then we have a zoologist, and this is going to be a very special workshop taking place in autumn with Mia Canestrini. She's a scientist and author, and she has been studying wolves for years for the National Research Department in Italy. She is the person that I've chosen to help us understand the psychology of the wolves and what we can learn from them. And there's a lot. Wolves are really magical animals, and we need a lot of their teachings, and they really provide a lot of inspiration for the coaching activities, most of all. The programs involve online learning, which can be usually webinars, so online webinars that get recorded with me live talking with you. and in some cases videos that I pre-recorded and that you find and you can watch at your pace, with your preferred pace. Then in-person workshops and at home homework, which is crucial because you will see it in the international programs mainly, where the in-person workshops last longer but are fewer. The homework that you will be requested to do, which is basically self-reflection activities, personal mapping activities, and nature connection experiences, guided either via PDF guides that I provide you with, or with audio meditations or audio experiences that you listen to as you do the things. That's really part of the trainings in order to optimize the time together and allow you to bring on the experience. Just let me see what was flashing in the chat. Hey, I'm a wolf. Oh, there's Damien. We have a wolf here. I didn't know that. That's great. Okay, so the Italian edition, so we have, now we go a little bit more in details. We have an Italian edition that is going to start like in a month, in a little more than a month. And this Italian edition means that it's going to be held in Italy, but it's open to internationals. Although I expect that it's going to be mainly Italians, even in this edition, because basically the structure is 3 or 4 in-person workshops in Italy, and every workshop is 3 days long, from Friday to Sunday, starting from next September, October. The dates are in the process of being defined. It's going to be between September or October. And then we have 3 workshops in 3 different forest environments for the forest ambassador training or the forest coach training. So the difference between these paths, forest ambassadors or forest coach, is that here you have the coaching competencies as well, and here you don't have it. You just have the nature connection and the forest bathing teachings. So 3 forests for this program and another workshop, okay, if you want to become a nature ambassador or a nature coach. So 3 forests plus 1 more workshop for the nature ambassador, plus the coaching training for the nature coaching paths. But for international, since I have had lots of requests from Australia, Malaysia, some from Africa, some from the Emirates and Sri Lanka, since I've had lots of requests in Canada and the States, I expect that it's not going to be easy to attend and participate into the Italian workshops. So this is what I designed to make the Nature Coaching Academy accessible to internationals with a program basically of affiliates. What does it mean? The idea that I had is that I like to propose, I'm looking for regional or country ambassadors that can become our partners in organizing a local workshop that is longer. So it's not a module of 3 days, it's going to be a module of 7 days in a row. And that then is goes on with online learning for the next 8 months or 6 months, depending on the intensity of the online learning that you can choose. So the idea is this one. If you feel called to take part in this training, but you live very far and you are not going to attend the different workshops, the 3 or 4 workshops that I've been just talking to you about, the Italian edition, will take place in 1 workshop for 1 season. So 1 will be this autumn, 1 in winter, 1 in spring. And if you choose the Nature Ambassador or the Nature Coaching Program, the last one is going to be in summer 2021. So the idea is, and this is really useful, because so you get to practice nature connection with us in different seasons, and you see all the adaptations in person live with us. So this is why I designed a program that covers a whole year, in fact. Otherwise, the idea is, if you live far away, you don't have, you don't want to come with us in Italy and have this 1 year journey, you can invite us and take care of the organization of a local training in your area. So you become the local representative as the first one of the Nature Coaching Academy from now on. We work together in synergy with you to organize a 7 days intensive workshop and nature immersion workshop. So we will have to agree together the ideal place for these nature immersions to occur. And we can choose together the environments based in your experience or your view of the thing. You are going to be our local expert and representative. So we give you all the expertise about organizing such events, but you will need to provide us with the knowledge of your local ecosystems. So this is the request that we do for this synergy. You get 2 free participations in the training. One is for you and one is for a person of your choice that you would like to give this to. We agree everything, so I cannot tell you prices about this, because prices are probably going to be different in India than in the Emirates and than in Canada. So basically, it's really a co-creative process that I would like to establish with each of the persons that may be interested. We agree prices for the trainers, so our expenses must be covered, and we can agree a proper fee according to your local environment. But you set the participation, or we support you doing that for the participants, and what you earn on top of our expenses is yours. You find the venue and coordinate all logistic aspects of the training on site. So you're going to take responsibility of this. We support you with the logistic and organization, which is the experience that we have. We support you in organizing registrations, setting up a web page, all the communication, promotion of the event. All our knowledge is yours for this. So no problem with that. So the result is that we become partners in developing personal and professional growth opportunities for people with nature, and co-create a cultural repair process to enable us and future generations to live well on this beautiful planet, which is ours, but not ours alone. As says the biomimicry most prominent representatives in the world, which is Janine Benyus, and there's 2 beautiful TED Talks that she does talking about biomimicry, and you will find her talks in the reference list as well. So how would this partnership work, and in terms of program design? So there's going to be 7 days intensive nature immersion in your country if you wish to be an ambassador in your country of the Nature Coaching Academy, plus online webinars and videos. And okay, we will reach the same number of learning hours of the Italian edition program. So we just do the 7 days immersion, but then the overall hours of learning is the same. Either you do the 3 or 4 workshops in Italy, one for each season, starting next September or October, or you do the 7 days immersion plus the online training, but the online training will need to compensate the lack of in-person workshops. So it's going to be a little bit more intense, because I will need to guide you more into applying the practices that we see together during the nature immersion workshops. And of course, you will get, after this webinar, a detailed description of all the terms, all the different subjects of each webinar and of each video, so you have a clear, exact idea of all the program. Then you will have to do a final project work, where basically what I ask you to do is to design a half-a-day program of nature connection experiences based in everything you learned from me and everything you already are and know. So what I really love to take care of is the integration between my proposal and all the richness of competences and expertise that you already have. So I love to support you into integrating my world, our world with yours, and finding opportunities for expanding your professional expertise and competence. And of course, your profile will be in our website, which gives me the idea to share with you a different thing, which is, just let me share another thing. The website where, okay, let me see. Okay, it should be this one. Let me show you the website. I didn't think about this before, which is the platform where I archive all the videos, all the webinars. Forest coaching. Just let me type this. Great. So when you register, you get access to a private online area with password protected, where you find all the learning events and the webinars, the videos, the PDFs, the audio guided meditation. So this is the reserved area of the students. Now you see it all in Italian, but of course you will have access to the same area in English, where you have for each module the video, the PDF, in most cases also the audio version of the webinar that we did. So this is the richness of all the different arguments that we have gone through over the past year with the first edition of the school. So you get detailed descriptions of all the practices that we did in person and more, with teachings about coaching, about evidence-based researches, about walking meditations, forest bathing. So everything is in this area. Okay, so it's very, as you see, very, very rich, but it's covered in months. So it's doable. So the garden, the archetype and the symbology, tree connection, forest coaching indoor, my inner garden. So these are some of the somatic coaching practices, and so on. Okay, so just let me get to the end. Okay, so this is all. Then one last thing that I like to show you is some of the pictures of the last training. So this is the website in English for all these courses, where you will also find the freebie that I was mentioning before, which is my ebook about nature coaching. So you can read more about what we just covered. And these are some of the photos of the first edition of the Nature Coaching Academy. So these was experiences of connecting with the land. You find the gallery and you can look at the photos and see all the different, this is the biologist, Simone. We were studying in this picture, we were studying how a field of wild herbs works in terms of pollination and how could we use some information on that in our personal lives. So we have been studying that and many different woods, and so you can have a look at that from that website. Okay, so then what else? Just let me see if I still need to, oh yes, just one last thing that I didn't mention. Let me share my screen one last time for the very last slide, and then I'm with you for any question and answer we may discuss together. So I was saying, this is the idea for the forest ambassador or nature ambassador, which are the 2 learning paths that don't include coaching. And these are, so if you add to this, you add the online coaching training, which is starting January 2021. You will also get the training as a coach. So this is it, and this is just a memo for me. This is my credential with International Coach Federation, and I just placed it here to remember to tell you this about the accreditation of this program. So I just stopped sharing this, and here we are again. The International Coach Federation requests that a program must have gone through at least 1 full edition before asking for the accreditation of the program. So basically, we are in the process of completing the 1st edition, and I will be sending out all the materials for accreditation during the month of July. Usually the Coach Federation takes up to 4 months to decide if the program is okay for accreditation. Of course, when you propose your program for accreditation, you must be sure that you designed it so that the accreditation can be given, because I mean, it wouldn't make sense otherwise. So at the moment, I cannot advertise my program as accredited because I'm still completing the documentation, but hopefully I should get it. And this is why I am postponing the coaching part of the trainings to January 2021, so that I have the necessary 4 months to get the accreditation. So this is postponed for this reason. And you will read in the presentation materials with all the details of the program. You will read more about this process of accreditation. So if it's your specific interest to know more about the Coach Federation, you will find links and answers about this. So at the moment, I think I finished my introduction. I would like to listen to you and to know, what do you think about what you've just heard? And if anything in particular has touched you, or you already do something around this field of studies that we are bringing on. I'm curious to know about you. And if you want to unmute you or just comment in the chat, you can do it the way that you prefer. Ask me any question. This is your moment. And if you need to go before this webinar or this Q&A part finishes, just know that you can write to me. I'm writing here the email once more. And I will send you the recording and the reference list and the freebies and whatever I have free for you to get and receive, along with the full presentation, with the affiliate programs details and the complete program with all the different arguments and subjects of all the video trainings and the webinars. Okay, so we have a question from Doris. So the local representative would do the work necessary to host the training locally, and in exchange, she would have the opportunity to participate in the training, both for ambassador or coaching. Yes, exactly. Of course, I offer the opportunity to take the full training, but if you, for any reason, are not interested in the coaching part, up to you. Okay, great. Thank you for the email, Julia. I love to discuss, but can't since kids are sleeping. Okay, I love this and would like to know more. Great, thank you, Aina. I totally understand the children part. From the Philippines, by the way. Wow, what a diverse community around us tonight. So great. Okay, so is there any question or anything that you would like to share? I'm curious, what's your experience with nature? And if you would like to share anything with that, and if you're a coach and you're already working and exploring around these fields, please, one step ahead and let's be heard.
Hi. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sure, Tanara.
Hi. So for years, I've been talking to people about this idea of nature coaching before I knew that there was a thing called nature coaching. But I grew up always around water, always outside, and nature has been very restorative for me. And I'm particularly interested in taking people outside to deal with stress, to deal with trauma, so I've had I was a caregiver for my mom until she died last year. And being outside and near the water, it was at some point my mind would turn off and I was just with nature. And so I would love to bring that to other people, particularly in our country right now with all that's happening. And so I still am not quite sure what it means to coach someone out in nature, but I'm interested in exploring. So my friend heard you speak last year, and she said you have to listen to this, and so I'm very happy to hear what you're doing, and had hoped to find a way to get to Italy, but now with all that's happening, so my interest is that I really believe in the power of nature and its healing properties, and want to bring that to other people.
Yeah, great. Thank you for this sharing. Are you already exploring ways to do this? Are you already, what are you doing? Like group experiences or more individual?
So before all of this started, I started coaching again, and thought of taking people outside and finding places where we could sit and meditate, write in a journal, or I could sit with someone out by the water, or bike with them, or walk with them, and just really just find out what do you want from life, what are your goals, and then knowing that being outside, it would provide more expansiveness, more openness in their thinking. And so just thinking of like walking with them, canoeing with them, just in nature, and just talking. And so basically having a coaching session while we're walking.
Great. Which is good because it involves the body as well. So
yeah. But also, so I thought about also just having at different points, leading hikes, and at different points we stop, and people can talk about what they're noticing in their bodies, what they're noticing about their mind, and they can write, just journal whatever they like to journal. So those are very simple things that I'm thinking.
Yeah, great. And do you witness benefits in this approach in your clients compared to indoors coaching?
Well, I haven't. I'd hoped to have people that I could try it out with. And so I am looking at doing that now. I've organized a hike for Friday. It's my first time organizing a hike. And so from there, I want to see like, what is it like for people to walk and talk? Like maybe just kind of trying out some things as we do that. And also maybe reaching out saying, I'm looking for 2 to 3 people. I have this idea and I'd love to just kind of try it out with you. We would practice social distancing, but I'd like to meet you by the water, or for us to meet at the botanical gardens or things like that. And I'll have a series of exercises for you to do. And so I haven't started anything yet, but I feel called to start something now.
Great, great. So I hope you will enjoy your explorations and experimentations. And by the way, I have just opened a Facebook group to share about these forest coaching or nature coaching experiences. It's open to everybody. I will input here the name of the group. So if you want to join and share anything in that space, it's going to be beautiful. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
That's great. I'll just say also, I wrote an article about it for our company about it. After during our retreat, I read the books on forest bathing, and I led, some exercises, and it went very well. And so when I did the forest bathing in Iceland for 7 days, it was very remote, and it was very relaxing and restorative. So I don't want to take all the time, but I'll just say that, and thank you.
Would you like to share your article with us? If it's online and you want to share it, you can place the link in the chat, and I will add it to my list as well.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I'll find it right now, and I'll put it in the chat.
Great, great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you also remind me to tell these things that I was forgetting. During this autumn, I'm going to host an online nature coaching summit, where for a whole week we are going to have 2 different speakers, one in the morning and one in the evening, so that we can catch people on the 2 sides of the globe in different time zones. And we are going to involve people who are coaches, active coaches, doing research and explorations around this opportunity of doing coaching with nature their way. So we're going to have different speakers, and you will know more if you wish to stay in touch with us. Just follow our website.
I would.
Yeah, or our Facebook pages. You will see the information there. It's going to happen next fall, and I'm organizing this with an English coach, which is Anna Marie Watson. So probably some of you know her. I don't know. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Tamara, for your sharing. Anybody else? Oh, let me see. There's a lot going on. Okay, so, okay. Okay, just let me go back. Okay, Doris, I am very interested in this opportunity. Does it have to involve an organization, or what if the local representative brought a group of people together for the training? Yeah, it's totally agreeable. I mean, I expect that there is going to be a lot of diversity in the different countries. So I'm totally open. I don't need necessarily a local organization. Like an institute or something like that, but it can just be a person who is available for synergizing with us. Please tell me if I answered you correctly and if I understood the point of your question. Hey, this was super interesting, Damien. I love you. Thank you. I work in a similar environment. I am from Sri Lanka. Wow. Many people today have been writing to me from your country. And I have worked as a whitewater rafting guide, canyoning guide. Wow. And we conduct personal development program kind of based on Outward Bound, I guess. Yes. So it's the experiential learning. Unfortunately, we don't have accreditation or learning opportunities here, so we kind of learn from wherever we can and use that knowledge to help the people who come to us, of course. So it would be lovely to actually follow this program. It sounds very similar what we try to do, and I'm sure there is a ton that I could learn from you, and me from you too. Also, my company is called Walking with Wolves, and I do nature, wildlife, and adventure-based tours as well, with a learning priority. So this looks like a very interesting partnership, also because we may really synergize in designing a program custom for not only your country, but for your competencies, so that we can make an integration between my approach and your technical skill, your knowledge of the place. And so it sounds really interesting to work on this opportunity. I hope we'll get in touch. I'll drop you an email. Thanks, Aina. I'm developing my own nature coaching and facilitation services in Finland and would love to cooperate. Absolutely. You can read just a few introductory lines here. Of course, great, good to know. And I will contact you. I will look at your website, and since we are still in the process of defining the speaker's schedule for the online summit, I'm really open if any of you is already experimenting on this and has like something to say about the experiences that you're doing around nature coaching, so that we can spread the word in our coaching communities worldwide. And if you feel that you can be a good speaker for this project of the online summit, contact me, and everything is free, so you will not pay anything, and it's just for the purpose of building awareness around this opportunity of uniting nature and coaching. So if you want to know more about this, just write me. Liz from Belgium. I'm living in France. I'm a dance and movement therapist, you sister, and life health coach. Great. I'm also a Coyote Nature Connection guide. This sounds John Young stuff. And working with children in forest school. Great. I've done different modalities in nature connection and forest bathing, and looking for a course in nature coaching to get more ideas to work with people on one-on-one. We live in the Limousin, I don't know it, surrounded by amazing forest and running a center for people who need a time out. I'm really interested in this opportunity. Liz, it sounds like you do amazing stuff. Let's connect, definitely. If I don't have your email yet, please drop me a note here privately. So if you want to keep it private, just write to me so that we can connect. In Finland, there's a network developing green care and green power service quality and trainings. Thanks a lot. I didn't know about this. So it's so rich, this exchange. Thank you, Tanara, Forest Bathing Benefits. Great. So everybody can see her article. Thanks for sharing. When is this Nature Coaching Summit? We're still in the process of defining the dates, also because we would like to involve the Coach Federation in supporting this project, probably eventually, if possible, issuing also continuous education credits. So we're still in the process of discussing this, but it's going to be in next fall, autumn, probably between October and November. And it's going to be a whole week with 2 speakers each day. Thank you. This is very interesting. I'm really excited to connect here. I'm very interested in exploring how we could collaborate. Great. Thank you for sending me your website.
Yeah, is it okay just to add to the comment that I put there? I just felt really I really want to say it's been like sort of coming home being in this session, because I've been working, I'm in the UK, and I've been working to build structure around bringing together my coaching. So I did through an ICF accredited course with ecotherapy and also embodied work, and bringing in a counselling skills qualification as well. And at times, sort of holding that in one vessel, you know, and also communicating that. It's been a really interesting journey to figuring out how to do that, and still one that's very much in progress, obviously. So, and then of course, like the added context at the moment of putting the outdoor workshops into online workshops, which I did for the first time at the solstice. So really, yeah, thank you so much. This has been really interesting and just really exciting to see you doing this and bringing it all together so professionally and yeah, at the same time, like really connecting to all the elements still. So yeah, I'm in the UK, and I have a base that I use to run things, and I'd be really interested in talking to you and thinking about if there's possibility for collaboration, for sure. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Thank you. Your enthusiasm and energy touches me and is here with me in this house now. So thanks a lot for your words, really, for the resonance. I think it's really, really important to connect with like-minded people around this, because we are more powerful together. We can make a wider impact together. So absolutely. Thanks for your sharing and hope to connect. Father. Okay. So you also get the website of Rowan. Which area of the UK are you, by the way? If you
I'm down on the south coast, so I'm in Brighton. So for anyone who knows it, it's on the coast. So we have the sea and we have the South Downs National Park, and we're also just under an hour's train ride from London. So yeah, it's a very fortunate location.
I visited, I think, probably not really your area, but probably closer, because I was at the Schumacher College for a training some years ago about plant intelligence. Is that maybe your area or not?
It's a little further. Do you mean in terms of geographically?
Yeah.
It's a little bit further, yeah, but I know where you're talking about. So yeah, and just to all my European friends as well, I just want to say I remain a European. So yeah, despite being here in the UK. So yeah, so thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so Damien, we'll drop an email. It's 2 a.m. here. Oh, thank you. Yes, I know it was in the middle of the night for you. It's amazing that you made it. Thanks a lot. Okay, Liz, thank you for your email. So this webinar series is going to continue, and is it apart from the Nature Coaching Summit? Damien, I don't, probably he's already left, but just in case you're still there, just clarify, because yes, I was talking about the webinar series, which is the online coaching summit. Yes, so the online coaching summit, 1 week of webinars, 2 per day, it's the same thing. Yeah. But I think I should also be more active in English, because I have lots of webinars that I did in Italian about all these subjects. So probably I think I will start during this summer to produce some videos and webinars also in English, so you can get to know me better. And yeah, so this is a plan that now is popping up in my mind. Okay. Si sente pianissimo. Thank you, Gianluigi, for the comment. I don't know what's happened. Is my the volume of my voice okay for the others? Okay, yes, okay. Okay, great. Rowena has gone, and perfect. So if no more answers are requested, I would like to say goodbye to everybody, unless my colleague Gianluigi, who is almost a nature coach, we just need this final module, but he's already a coach, and he's been working in the corporate environment for years. Gianluigi, I don't know, would you like to say anything to say goodbye to the people here with us? Or yeah.
Hi, hello guys from all over the world. I was here with my little boy, so I couldn't actually follow very well all the webinar. But what I can say is something about you, because as you know, I think you are an extraordinary person, and so what you do is something great, and the people is feeling that, and that's make me very proud to be your friend, to be your colleague, to be your partner in some stuff that we do together. So I can just say, hope to build something that can contribute to change the world. That's what I can say.
Very small project, yes.
No, but I mean, putting all the people all together and involving the nature and the connection with the nature. And I think that it's the only way we have to actually to do some kind of changement. So I think that the way is the right way. And if the people feel that, it means that we have the responsibility to inform even the other people that it is possible, and that's the way. So this is what I can tell you tonight. And also I can confirm you and all the people who is listening that this kind of academy, okay, you can learn a lot of things about nature, about connection, and etc. But you do a big changement inside as well. Believe me, because I did it, and all the people who were with me to the last year in the academy, I mean, did the same. So it means that it works. It works a lot.
Yeah, we've had people changing big pieces of their lives, people that decided to quit their lives in a urban city and moved to the country. There have been people who have been dropping their work and trying to live more harmoniously with their vocation, with their calling. And so big changes for you too, I know. And
Yes.
by the way, Gianluigi has joined the training with his wife, so they were together in that. And during the time of the training, there's Lara. There we go. Yeah, Samuele has been part of our training because he's just born. So he actually is a little wolf, part of our wolf pack.
And then the last thing, if I can, Diana, the great thing that I was listened before, that many people have different specialization, and that's something great because what I could see last year is that if you have a kind of specialization and you add this new knowledge, you can build something great. So welcome to all the different specialization, and really welcome.
Yeah, that's interesting to point out. We had school teachers, educators, corporate trainers, already coaches, two biologists. What else? Which kind of professionalities I'm forgetting?
More or less, you said.
Persons with a master degree in forest sciences. The people in the research field in universities, Francesca. So a very diverse community. So it's not just for coaches, it's for anybody who feels called to integrate a nature-based and body-based approach in their profession. So basically this is, and what I really love to take care of is also enabling you to customize the learnings and the teachings to your calling, to your vocation, to your profession. And a part of the training is also a final module in professional communication about nature coaching and nature connection. Which is the part where I discuss a lot how to enhance your personal and professional brand so that you can really feel empowered in using the learnings that we build together for your professional expansion, basically. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Gianluigi, for sharing. And okay, then I have a comment from Pope. Great, in private, shared in private. Thank you, everybody. It's been long, and I really thank you for joining this conversation and adding your value here. I'm really grateful for the time you dedicated to this connection between us together. And I hope to meet you in person sooner or later. One of the reasons why we haven't yet defined the dates for the Italian trainings is because things are moving around this global pandemic, so we still are in the process of understanding what exactly will be possible in September. So far, it's possible to meet in teams in Italy, unless you respect social distancing norms, which requires 1 meter to 2 meters distance, interpersonal distance during the trainings. So if you do that and you use the mask, it's possible. Of course, I would love not to use the mask. So this is why I'm a bit hesitating in defining the dates, because I would love to define the dates when I'm sure that there will be less restrictions. Because of course that has a little impact on the overall experience. But as nature teaches, adaptation is interesting. So I'm also looking at the possibility to place an accent on adaptation, and so we will do our best to do everything that is possible. So before the 30th of June, I will send you the dates and the detailed program and everything, and I will get back to you soon. And meanwhile, stay safe, stay healthy, and if you are in a region of the world where it's night, like for me, good night and golden dreams to you all. Ciao. Ciao everybody. Ciao ciao.